Hour after hour. Okay. Let's see if we can actually get a feed there. All right. So I think we're good to go now. We may have been good to go before. Work in progress. Plus it's 7:30 in the morning, so sometimes that's why I need coffee, right? So welcome back. As I was saying, we're gonna pick up from where we left off yesterday with Lovable. It's kind of my daily driver in terms of like building out apps quickly without really needing to know how to code. Honestly, though, you should still have some sense of code, just because it makes some of the concepts a little bit easy. You can speak to AI more natively, I guess. Because if you don't really understand concepts, I think it's more difficult to sort of translate your thoughts in a way that the LLMs will get it. Anyways, I am also using a new setup today, so if you can't hear me, let me know. I'll try to adjust the volume. It's not like anybody's here to let me know, but if you stumble upon the screen, or if you see this in the future sometime and you come back to it and you're like, I can't hear you, I'm always open to feedback, so I will try to fix that. All right, in the meantime, let's see. Looks like we still have an excellent connection, so let's see if we can get this out in the world. Again, I'm going to be talking about Lovable. I'm going to be picking up with a project that I've been working on for a little bit. Actually, I just fired it up this past weekend, but I think it's pretty cool, and it's something that I want to continue spending time on. I have been contemplating like what format to do for this stream in terms of like what I should do, what I should talk about. So also, if there's anything specifically that you want to hear me talk about, then we can go there. Now let me try to find this video so I can get it out there into the world. Let me see, my channel. Can we just go to my channel? All right, here we go. I found the video, I believe. We're live on this one. Whoops, let me mute this. Okay, I'm gonna share it, attempt to share it. Struggle is real this morning. Share. I shared on X. I still call it Twitter. I think a lot of people probably still do. All right, so let's just post this on the tweets on the X. And say, let's see, watch me struggle with, so today I'm gonna try to pick up with embedding. So I have this app that generates soundscapes from images. So it creates prompts to generate sound effects that then we kick off to 11 Labs to create the sound. But right now I'm in the process of trying to figure out the best way to store those sounds. So watch me struggle with vector embeddings. This morning, watch me struggle with vector embeddings on my live stream. Yay. Okay, I'm just gonna post it. All right. Sometimes I just put too much thought into like what I want to send out into the world, which is a good thing. I mean, most of the time I think you want to consider what you're pushing out into the world. All right, so that said, let's get back into it. Let's just pick up where we left off and hope that the stream holds up. So 4 minutes in, it's looking okay to me so far, so let's just get into it. I'm going to open up an app that I've been working on. Again, if you're not familiar with this project, well, it's unlikely that you're familiar with this project, but I'm going to fire it up and we'll go from there. All right, so it's got an authentication. I think it's trying to authenticate me, so it just did. It logged me in. So we set up authentication. It's very simple, straightforward. It's through Lovable, and then you just tell it to connect to Supabase. So I really like that integration. What I don't like is I've only got 2 free projects with Supabase, and I probably don't know what I'm doing with the database side at all, honestly. And I'm also cheap. So with 2 free projects, I've been cramming all of my connections into the same project, which is probably not a good thing because I've already seen some issues come up with that, where the schema, I guess, is getting all messed up. Like, especially if I have very similar projects, and when Lovable's trying to talk to Supabase, sometimes it's like looking at the tables that are already in there, and they're somewhat related, so it starts using the wrong tables. Anyways, I would probably suggest that you keep a 1-to-1 ratio. I don't know if that's best practice. Maybe somebody can tell me. But these are things that I'm learning as we go. So don't know much about the database side, but this is all great because I'm learning in the process. All right, so let's take a look here. Let's open this up. And let's just review some of the things that I've been working on with this project over the past little bit. Let's just scan this. So a couple things. I tried to implement a menu system. So long term, I want to have this so we can generate a soundscape and then we can share it, right? So we can put it out there in the world. We can share it, come back to it. If you create something cool, I'd like users to be able to come back and like visit it again, you know, go back to that place so they can, you know, they set up the sounds, the sound effects. It's very immersive, and they want to save it. And they want to create a place where they can come back and like listen to those sounds again, the way they left it. So I don't have any saving features in this thing right now, which just means that when you create a scene, like if we go in here and upload an image, and then we go pick this forest scene with a bear, right? It's going to do this it's going to do this thing where the core part of the app works, where it kicks off to the OpenAI, and then it comes up with these prompts that we're sending to 11 Labs, but it's not actually doing anything with these sounds, right? So what that means is they're getting generated, but I'm not doing anything with them. And so yesterday I toyed around with the idea of saving it, because I think that's, again, a core feature of the app that I want to work. Is just, you know, build out the scene, build out the saving part of it for users. Because once you go away from this, you can't really get back to it. There's just, you know, create a new one and enjoy it while it's on the screen. And then everything's stored like locally, and I think local storage. I'm not even really sure. But once you go away, like, you can't get back to it. So that's issue number 1. Issue number 2 is I want long-term to use and recycle these sound effects, because some of them, as I'm just doing this on the development side, some of them come out really cool. Some of them are terrible. So that needs to be worked on. The prompt engineering for the sounds, as well as the ability to curate like the best sounds, right? So I need to start building a catalog. So I'm trying to build a catalog, and I figured let's just work on the catalog side first, and then we can figure out the sharing stuff later. So once I can get the technical aspect of embedding these things into vectors, then we should be good to go, right? And so I've gotten closer to that. I abandoned the save aspect of it for now, and I've gone back to trying to figure out how to vectorize these sound effects. Now, why am I doing that? Well, I've just always wanted to do a project where it's either a RAG setup, or like whatever it's called, augmented retrieval system, or embed vectors and then search them. And so based on my limited research, I basically went over to ChatGPT and said, hey, would sound effects be something that we should vectorize? Like, would it be useful to do that? Like, what versus like just tagging them with keywords and implementing some traditional search like engineering setup? And ChatGPT said it would be highly beneficial and in bold. So, you know, if ChatGPT is talking to you in bold, it's you know, that's what you should do. So I've got the embeddings working. I'm using the OpenAI call text embeddings, and so it's working. The sounds are still being generated, and I'm at this place where I've got these functions. So the sounds are going into this database, right? You see how my database is already messed up because I've got all these sort of unrelated things going on, and then I've got an edge function in here to vectorize the sound, right? And so that's working. So I got like the numbers, which represent the vectors. So that's happening. I get success. I don't really have errors. Previously, I was running into a bunch of errors, but fix that. Now, the only issue is I cannot seem to get, so this is the edge function to generate the embeddings. And then I have the table. And again, I still am trying to figure out Supabase and where everything's supposed to go or how I actually get to it. So these are the sound effects that get generated. You can see the prompts here. Like for instance, if we expand this, isn't there a way to expand this? Okay, anyways, I guess that's the easiest way to expand this. The deep constant roar of fire engulfing everything in its path, punctuated by the sporadic whoosh of explosive bursts. All right, so that's the prompt. And then here's the file, and then it was created at timestamped user ID, UUID versus ID, I don't know. So when I was first creating these vector embeddings, it's like you need a UUID or a user ID. So I've got two fields here. I couldn't tell you why. Lovable tried to explain it to me and it sort of flew over my head. Plus it was late last night. All right, and so this is the problem I have now with the embeddings and the embedding models. Like this is all null. So my embeddings should show up here because when I do a search on the app, so if we go back to the app, I did implement this search function. So before that, I just had, you know, the cards, and I didn't have any way to like how is somebody supposed to add sound like once it's created and once we have the catalog, they need a search. They need the ability to search. So I created this, you know, card here that looks like a plus, like you would add something, and in theory, based on design language, hopefully this suggests that, you know, you would add a sound. So search a sound, right? And so this is where I'm at, you know, like chirps, like, or chirps. So in a perfect world, like this goes and finds the embedding, I guess, but that's where I'm at. So I've got the search module, I've got the front end interface to sort of speak to the database, the edge function, and everything's sort of working, but not working. And I think this is the hang up right here, like getting the embeddings into the generated sounds table, because that's where the app is looking for when it does the search function. So if we go to my edge functions, I believe in here, I've got generate embeddings and search sounds. So in here, and again, I don't even know how to find the actual, like where this function exists, like how to actually see the function. I mean, maybe if I look at the lovable code, but I don't even know how to look for the function or find the actual function, the code of the function. So I'm relying heavily on lovable to tell me these things at the moment. It's probably in the GitHub somewhere. I'm gonna have to look it up, but all right, so that's what we're doing. We're trying to fix that. So let's see, log function. So this is me going back and forth, especially lately, or especially most recently. This is me, you know, saying, all right, try this. And so the short story is it's tried to fix it multiple times, and I feed it basically documentation. So if we look at this, it's like, where does this problem start? And I'll just walk you through like how I've been talking to Lovable so far. All right, and like you can see multiple threads, and I only have like 9 messages left in my plan for this month before it resets in 5 days. So I'm also a little message shy at the moment in terms of committing changes because I only have 9 messages left in my queue after going through a weekend of just unlimited messaging. All right, so let's see, where did it start with? You can see this is just an ongoing dialogue with me and trying to get this to work, right? So at first, it wasn't writing sounds to the database. That was an issue. I had a bunch of sounds in there from a previous project. I deleted them from the table, started from scratch. And now we've got the sounds writing to the table. So all of the sounds are writing to the table. Let's just run through a sequence and I'll show you the aspects of this that are working, right? So again, in the future, if anybody cruises along and finds this and finds me still struggling with this process, you can leave a comment, hopefully, and set me straight. So that's the topic for today. We're going to try to get the embeddings to work. It's just a long explanation that I don't know if anybody actually needs or cares to hear, but just so you have some context. as to what is happening. That's what's happening. All right, so here we go. All right, so I've got this. Let's just do one. Leaf rustle, right? So I'm gonna trigger this. It's gonna play some leaf rustling. Hopefully that sounds like soft rustling of leaves. And see, that's another thing. You can hear it. Watch. The joys of AI, right? So this is all AI generated audio, and so it interpreted like, well, it said basically, I said the soft rustling of leaves as a gentle breeze passes through the forest canopy. And for whatever reason, it sounds like a weather report. Like if you listen to this, it sounds like somebody's about to like talking about the weather. So let's try another one, and then we'll go back and look at the embeddings and stuff like that. So birdsong. Let's just find someone that actually. Let's find something that actually sounds like what it's supposed to sound like. Okay, better. Melodic chirping of various birds echoing through the trees, creating a symphony of natural music. And hopefully you can hear that. It's about as loud as I can get it to go through my system audio. All right, so we've got bird song, right? And so if we go back to, and you can see it just refreshed there. I should have a bird song in here somewhere. I don't know if I have the title. It'd be nice to have like the title in here, but bird song. Okay, I think this is it, the one on the top. So yeah, if we sort by timestamps created at, this would be today's date, 7th, yeah. They all say the 7th, but this is whatever time it is, not Pacific Standard Time here in California. So I've got melodic chirping of various birds echoing through the trees, creating a symphony of natural music. And let's just check. Yeah, that's what we just created, bird song. So it's in here, right? It's in my table. It just got generated. URL created at updated, but it's missing the embeddings, and that's the problem that I cannot seem to resolve. The edge function, if we look at the logs in here, refresh this. It should have, oh no, that's for search function. That's for the search logs. We need the generate embeddings logs. All right, last hour. Okay. Generate sound embeddings. Generated the vector string. So it's got this string in here of all the vectors, which looks promising. I mean, you know, this is, I guess, all stuff we should see. And then I've got the event message generating embeddings for generating sound, the melodic chirping of various birds, creating a symphony of natural music. So boom, logged, generated, successful, update, embedding sound. And so why isn't the generated sounds table getting the embedding information? That is the root of the issue this morning. And so all of this has been like, all right, I think, you know, LLM's like, the embeddings columns are still not, this is from previous prompts. All right, let's analyze what's happening. We've got this, that, and the other. And I've gone through that like several times. Same thing. And it's like, let me try this. Let me rewrite it. Let me, you know, let's do this. I think it's the Postgres or again, I don't, PostSQL, Postgres SQL. But it's like, okay, yes, we've checked off the box. The sound is being added to generate sounds. Yes, it is. The embedding generation is successful. We see it in logs. Yes, we do. The update operation in the edge function is being executed. Yes, as far as I can tell. But the embeddings columns remains null. Yes. And so the latest iteration was like, all right, I think it's I think it may be related to, you know, looking at the logs, I think it's possibly related to the schema or the SQL permissions. So, you know, it's updated the edge function a few times. It's turned it into, like, it's tried to convert the string several different ways. And so now, like, here, it's like configure the column correctly with the vectors, generating the embeddings. We're formatting it as a string, I guess, which is what, you know, I see in the logs. But it's like, I suspect there might be an issue with how it's interpreting the vector string. So let me modify the string to see how it's being handled. And then it goes and does it. I say, go ahead and do it. It applies the migration, successful, da da da. Try it again, it says, and then we try it, and that we're just not there. All right, so what do we need to do now? We need to still fix it because it's still an issue if I want this to work. So, right, because if we have melodic, I should be able to type like melodic sound, right? And then it would search it and be able to find it. That's the whole point of this thing, is like semantic search, like natural language, embeddings, to find the most relevant sounds. I think that's going to be really crucial to this whole thing as a bigger project. Like if you create a bunch of sounds and you have a large catalog, you want to be able to find sounds quickly that are relevant and highly like related to your atmosphere. All right. So what haven't we tried? I'm not sure at this point because I keep running around in circles with Lovable. So let's do this. I've reviewed the SQL and it looks good. Migration is being applied. What am I supposed to tell it now? It's still not doing it. I love operating in chat mode because I don't have to spend messages, but I'm at the point where I don't want to go back. Oftentimes in this case, I would typically go back and just restore something, but I feel like we're close, right? I feel like we've got the embeddings working. Like otherwise I'd have to go back and reconfigure all that. I'd have to go back and step through the changes to the database, to the functions, but I feel like we're just missing one thing, and I can't really figure out what's going on. The edge function is happening, so what did I tell it last time? I basically said that it's still not working. Okay, the embeddings columns are still null. Okay, all right, let's see what happens. Let's just see what it says. So, the embeddings columns are still null in the general. Yes. Sounds are getting generated in the table, but the embeddings columns are still null. Okay, let's see what Lovable has to say today. This is something where I think I'm at a point where I want to turn to another LLM to sort of just like give me some advice. And the other go-to LLM that I have is ChatGPT. So I feel like I need to provide ChatGPT with some screenshots and go from there. Like in terms of like, what do you think? What do you think? How do you think, like, asking ChatGPT, what do you think I should tell Lovable, your friend over here, Lovable, to do to fix this? All right, and so after I said the sounds are getting generated in the table, but the embeddings columns are still null, this time we go, let me analyze the embeddings to see if they're still not being properly stored. Looking at the recent changes, we have the vector extension installed and the column configured correctly. The edge function is generating embeddings successfully. Yes, the issue might be in how we're formatting. It keeps coming back to the format of the, like, it continues to reference this as the core issue. Let's prepare a new version of the edge function that will format the vector in a way that can definitely understand. Yeah, I've heard that before. Add more detailed logging of the update operation. Ensure that we're using the correct Supabase client configuration. Would you like me to show you the updated edge function code with these improvements? Yes, please proceed. All right, so like I said, I am running on fumes with my messages. I have like 9 left. But this is critical, mission critical, so let's do it. Yes, please proceed. I feel like I'm gonna have to upgrade my plan. I spent a lot of my messages on a previous project last month, which I'll probably get into here in a little bit because I don't know how much progress we're gonna make with this thing, and I'd rather not bore people to death with my circle of life here with this particular problem that I'm gonna have to fix it, so I just don't feel like fixing it on stream is probably the most fun thing to do. All right, so, but hopefully you can get a sense of like how, what happens when, you get here. And then hopefully if I fix it, like that would be the best case because then you can see what I actually did to fix it. Okay, so I'll update the edge function to properly store the embeddings. yeah, again, this is something that I feel like it's done before or tried before. So here are the changes that it made. And again, this is where if we're talking about code, this gets a bit foreign. I mean, like I look at this and I'm like, okay, I see, you know, the logs, but I don't really know what it's doing. I don't know what it changed per se. Like it changed the vector string, like it changed the embedding here from a vector string to embedding. It's still using the same embedding model, text3 small. Oh, crap. Where'd it go? Okay. The messaging, I guess it created a new log here. But everything else, it seems similar from table update. Yeah, it just seems like it changed embedding this string, vector string to embedding. And then it commented some code here. Format the embedding array as a Postgres. How do you even say that? Postgres? If anybody knows, I feel like I need to know how to say that. Vector literal. So that made the change there. And then of course it's going to be like, yeah, I fixed it. You should try it again. So I'll update the edge function. The edge function has been updated to properly store embeddings in the database. The main change is now that we're passing the embedding array directly to Postgres instead of trying to format it as a string. Okay, but again, I feel like this is something that we've done already. But just for funsies, let's try to make another sound and see if it shows up here. So let's go with the bear chuffing. What is even a bear chuffing? Soft, playful chuffing sounds between mother bear and her cubs as they interact. It'd be really cool if that is actually the sound that it produces. But I feel like that's a confusing one for an LLM. Like soft, playful chuffing sounds between the mother bear and... I don't know. Maybe that could be interpreted as bear chuffing. It's kind of like a weird whisper that's happening. Okay, so the sound's getting here, but clearly no embeddings, right? So it was just added. Where did it go? Where did it add it to? Chirping of birds? No. Deep sporadic murmur. Where is it? Oh, chuffing sounds. All right, so here it is. It's this one. This row is where we're at. Soft, playful chuffing sounds created on optional fields, user ID, but embedding null, embedding model null, last embedded no date. But in the edge functions, if we refresh this, I believe we should have some more recent data regarding the embedding. So successfully embedded again, that's not an issue. Embedded the sound, vector string, here's the actual vectors. And then, actually, no, that's for the last one because that's a gentle murmur. Let's see. Generating embedding. Okay, so I don't see last hour. Oh, maybe I'm on the wrong date. Let's go here. Which embedding is this? Oh, this one. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so the embedding data is available. It's just not going anywhere. Like, I don't know where ultimately this is supposed to, like, I don't know what the fix is. And that's the same loop that I find myself in, chasing my tail like a dog, like just spinning around in circles. That is where this has led us today on the stream. So this is something I'll probably spend time with later, maybe this evening, trying to resolve, but that's where I'm at with this project. Again, I want to sort of add the ability to search a catalog of sounds. Ideally, these sounds that I've generated so far, with the idea being that based on the fairly descriptive use of prompts associated with the sounds, like if you were looking for like ocean waves, like you should be able to return this result, or breezes, or breezing, gentle breezes. Like there's lots of context within each prompt that we're storing and embedding, and so hopefully I can get this to work. But I'll probably, like I said, turn to ChatGPT and see if we can resolve this. So let's see. if we can do that. What should we write? What model should we use? Reasoning? I always think like when I'm stuck, that GPT-01, I don't have the Pro because, well, it's $200 a month. But I do have the latest 01 model, and it allows me to upload pictures and screenshots. So let me see. Let's go back here real quick, and let's see if this is something that we can hash out with ChatGPT. So I'm going to go find one of the previous screenshots because this is probably representative of, let's see, can we get this? Can I still save this? Yes, copy image. All right, so let's just throw it in. I'm going to throw a couple images into 01 and see if it knows what to do here. Okay, so I'm going to throw these two. These are previously, and then I have to describe my project to ChatGPT. So let's do that. I'll just bring the screen in here so you can kind of see what I'm doing with ChatGPT. All right, so we're going to turn to a friend. I feel like this is like that show, Call a Friend, call an LLM. And like where you have like that one friend that's on standby and you call them and you're like, all right, I'm playing this game and they're asking me this question. What do you think? And that's every time I need to like refer or like go outside of Lovable to fix something, it's like call a friend, but it's call an LLM. And you could literally call like ChatGPT, especially with the last update where they now allow you to call the 1-800 number and you can just talk to GPT. But I think that's, I used it a couple times. I called it just to see what it would do. And I'm not sure what model they're using for that one, but it does seem a bit more generic. All right, is the stream lagging? I can't tell. I feel like it's live, but like we're really behind. Well, we're just gonna keep going. I'll just see what actually shows up as a result. So what can I help with? So you can help me with understanding what is going on with this. So here are the embeddings logs with the general. Okay, so let's give it some context. I'm building an app with lovable.dev. Lovable.dev. Building an app with lovable.dev that generates. I'm building an app that generates sound effects. That generates soundscapes. Generate soundscapes using. What does it do? I need more coffee. I'm building an app with Lovable that generates soundscapes using sound effects. Generated. Lots of generating using sound effects from 11 Labs. I'm trying to. My app is integrated with Supabase, and I'm trying to vectorize the sounds. I have a table called generated sounds in Supabase. I have a table called generated sounds in Supabase that is getting populated with new sounds, but it's missing the embedding data. Here are the embeddings logs. Okay, should I separate that? I don't know, whatever. Here are the embeddings logs, but the generated sound table is still not doing it. What could be the issue? All right, let's just send this away and see what ChatGPT advanced reasoning thinks is the issue. I generally use just the regular 4.0 model, but again, if I get stumped on something, and And I have no idea how complex of a question this is, but I just feel like it requires some thought. So we're going with O1 and it's thinking. I don't know how long it's going to think for, but while it's thinking, let me just take another sip of coffee. All right, excellent connection, but something is potentially getting fried over on the stream side. All right, we're still thinking. Still thinking. O1 is still thinking. This must be complicated. Because it's still thinking. All right, so let's go back. Let's just see what's happening here. How long should we let it think? And then, does this stream even come up on my channel? All right, and so if you're new here and you're just wondering what I'm staring at, I'm waiting for our GPT-01 to. I'm waiting for it to think. It's thinking. I also saw something on social there the other day. Oh, I got some feedback. All right, let's go back. Here it is. All right, so it thought about it for like almost 2 minutes, and it says a very common culprit here is that the sound ID you're using inside the edge function does not match the primary key in your generated sounds table. In other words, your update call is effectively doing blah, 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 but no row in generated sounds actually has that UUID. Since there's no match, the update runs successfully but no errors, but the embedding column remains null. You can confirm this by closely looking at the IDs in the table versus the IDs of your logs. Those IDs simply don't match. Supabase won't throw an error if it doesn't find a row. It just returns zero rows updated. Okay, so this would, like, for me, this seems like a lead, right? So it's like, okay, it's something different. Whereas like Lovable got stuck in this loop of, it's got to be the way that we're handling converting the string for Postgres or whatever, whatever that issue is. And it just kept like, it's like, nope, I got it. I got this. And then, it's like, no, I got it. Let me try this. And it's just like hung up on that idea. And it's like, sometimes you have to bring like outside counsel in. You're like, what do you think, this issue is? And this is a completely different issue. So like ChatGPT-01 is like, it doesn't say anything about the way that we're converting the embeddings into strings. This is just like, it's not getting written to your database because the IDs don't match. It says those IDs simply don't match. Supabase won't throw an error. Other possible pitfalls: wrong column names. Double check that you're using the wrong environment. And that's where I have no idea if any of these are actually applicable to the situation. But almost always, though, when you see updated rows successfully, logs, and a null column in your table, it's the wrong ID. Where clause, or you're pointing to the wrong project. Once you fix that function, your embedding should show up. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is, let's just take the summary, because I could feed it this entire thing. I could feed Lovable. So what I want to do now is just take this back to Lovable and be like, look, outside counsel says that this is, but it's, I'm going to pretend, I'm going to give myself the credit and not, I'm not going to be like, ChatGPT, OpenAI says that don't know what you're doing. And so here's what you should do. So let's see. Which part of this should I copy? I feel like a very common culprit. I feel like I should translate this section. Culprit here is that the sound ID. Can you check? I feel like I'm going to say, okay, can you check? I'm trying to construct a statement back to Lovable, right? So what I want to do is take something back to Lovable and be like, I want to be, where did my, okay. So I want to be, I want to lead it down a different path is what I'm saying. So I want to lead it down the path of, this is the issue, not the thing that you've been stuck on for the past like 5 messages. Very common culprit here is that the sound ID you're using is okay. Can we ensure? Okay, all right. I'm going to put something like this. Okay, but I'm gonna use, so I'm gonna say, can we ensure that the sound ID, because we're a team, right? We're using inside the edge function. Can we ensure the matches? Okay. Can we ensure that we're using the inside matches? I feel like this should be matches. Matches the primary key in the generated sounds table. All right, so I'm translating here, but I'm taking the statement from here, and I think that's, but no rows, since there's no match, the update runs. Can you confirm this? Supabase. Okay, so it's the wrong ID. Logs in no. I'm just trying to see if there's any other information we should toss into this prompt. Once you fix that, the function shows up. Okay. All right, so I think maybe if we just send Lovable back in this direction, there may be some hope. Well, so let's see what happens. Can we ensure that the sound ID we're using inside the edge function matches the primary key in the generated sounds table? And then we'll just see what happens. Before I get more explicit, I guess, before I just start doing things like copying the entire ChatGPT thing and going, do this. I'd rather like Lovable think about it, think about the situation, because Lovable has more context regarding the setup. ChatGPT has like some screenshots, but Lovable has the project. So it says, let's analyze how the sound ID is being handled. Looking at the database schema, the generated sound table has the ID, the UUID, the default value gen random UUID. In the edge function, we receive sound ID from the request body, but we should verify that it's a valid, that it matches. Let me prepare an updated version of the edge function that will add a UUID validation, verify the record exists before we're trying to write, add detailed logging for the ID checks. Would you like me to show you the improved? Okay, so now it's down a different path. It's been realigned, right? Because it was not looking in the right place, potentially. So now we're going down the ChatGPT solution, and we're like, all right, dude, go this way. Go look over there. All right, so let's just say, would you like me to show you the improved edge function code with these validations? And I'm just going to say, please update the edge function. Please, would you like me to show you the improved edge function code? Please improve it. Please, what do we need to do? Please update the edge function. Please update the edge function to no, it has enough context. I think we can just say, please update the edge function. And this is where I would prefer, if you're in chat only mode with Lovable, to actually say, like, in one of these buttons here, like this will send you to the logs. So this will send you to Supabase, and it'll open up the embeddings function or the edge function logs. But in terms of an action, I would prefer this actually do something like, you know, there's a button here that I can just say, yeah, go make this thing, go do the thing. Instead, I end up having to prompt it to do stuff or prompt it into action. So I'm going to say, please update the edge function. And, you know, we're getting about 45 minutes into the stream. I'm trying to keep these streams under an hour per day just because, well, I don't know. It just seems adequate to start with, just to start building, you know, a base, a foundation for streaming, especially considering that I haven't streamed in a long time. All right, so I'll update the edge function to properly validate and handle the sound IDs. And it did something. Let's see. This is not a, oh, maybe we can see the diffs. Okay, yeah. So looks like it added quite a bit of things. Again, with not necessarily understanding code, it's hard for me to interpret. That's why if you speak this language, if you know code, then I'm sure like it's a lot easier to navigate some of these things. You can probably just look at this and be like, all right, okay, that's what it's doing. That's what it changed. But me, I look at it and I'm like, okay, so it did some stuff. Like for me, the summary, I just take it for what it said. You know, like it could tell me it did whatever, and I'd be like, okay, cool. And then it's just only when it doesn't work that I'm like, all right, you clearly didn't do what you said it was going to do. The edge function has been improved with valid ID handling. So what did it do? It added UUID format validation, verified the sound exists in the correct table before attempting an update, enhanced logging through the process, properly handles the embedding array format for Postgres or whatever. Postgres. All right, so should it work? Will it work? I don't know. Let's just try it. Let's take another image. Let's grab, what's this guy doing? He looks confused. This is me. This is me trying to figure out vector embeddings right now. Okay, so ticking clock. Is there a clock in here? No, but maybe it seems like there would be a clock. That's interesting. Ticking clock. What's the scene called? Startled silence. Yeah, that's me. That's the stream. Startled silence. An unexpected intrusion disturbs the calm of a sunlit living room, casting an air of tension over the tranquil setting. Dust particles dance in the rays of sunlight filtering through the window. As stillness is broken only by the subtle sounds of a home at rest. So we've got ticking clocks, distant traffic, rustling leaves, and creaking floorboards. Let's go with distant traffic. All right, so the prompt here, distant traffic, low hum of cars passing by on a distant road, providing a muted backdrop to the indoor quiet. And now it's completely failing to generate embeddings. So what is happening? All right, so it says that failure to call the edge function, which I realized after staring at these errors for long enough that that this needs some additional context. I feel like when I just try to fix it, which is at no cost, like that, again, this is one of those things that could send Lowell back into like a spiral. So before we do that, before we try to fix it, let's go back into the edge functions. See that there's a couple new logs, right? So we'll refresh this, take a look at the logs, and see what errors came. So I've got the generating the embedding, and then I've got this issue with sound not found. And then I've got the error itself. So, okay, now I'm getting errors. All right. And so I typically like to copy this. All right, and so I'll go back to here. I'll change this back to chat and say seeing some errors in the, what is this, embedding logs? Is it in here? The low hum of cars. Okay, so the sound is getting generated here. Still no embeddings because, well, clearly there's an error in the function. Generate embeddings logs. All right, and so interesting. And the stream crashed again. All right, so it lasts for about 48 minutes, and then something happens over there. Seeing some errors in the function. Seeing some errors. Added UUID. Seeing some errors. Okay, seeing some errors in the embedding logs. This one. And we'll go with this one. And then I'll send a screenshot of said errors. Error. All right, my sound is playing though. We've got sound. Oh, let's get out of here. Let's pause the traffic. Errors. All right. I don't think the stream is live anymore, so let's take a look. Is it live? Are we live? I guess we're still live. 49 minutes. Okay, never mind. I guess we're still live. 49 minutes. We'll let that be then. Okay, never mind. Okay, so we're still here, even though nobody else is. Top chat. I don't need chat. I need to see my stream. Okay, 50 minutes. All right, we're still going. We're still good. Okay, so let's go back. Let's take a look. I thought for whatever reason the stream fell through. So since this video is still available, what I did was I pasted the errors from the embedding logs into Lovable rather than just trying to go here and fix that thing, right? So there was a message earlier that said error, and then we could have tried to fix it directly in the UI, Lovable UI, but instead I went ahead and copied the errors directly out of the Supabase logs and put them back into Lovable. And so now it's saying, looking at the error logs, I can identify the issue. It's always a good, I always like when it's like, yeah, I got it. But again, you know, like LLMs are just like, generally speaking, just way too confident. They're always like, I got this, or yes, you know, like, not like, yeah, they're generally like, nope, I know it, when sometimes it's not actually the case. All right, so looking at the logs, I can identify the issue. The error occurs because we're using single when checking for the sound's existence, which throws an error when no row is found. This is common Supabase issue with single, I'm guessing that's an array, single. The specific error, PG, indicates that we tried getting a single row, but 0 rows, meaning the sound ID doesn't exist in the table at the time we're checking. This suggests a timing issue. The sound is being generated in the generated sound tables. The embeddings generated is triggered immediately, but the database transaction for creating the sound might not be fully committed when we check for its existence. Okay, so that actually sort of makes sense to me, because if I look, when I generate a sound, it shows up in the generated sounds table first, right? So it immediately kind of populates that. But then if I go and quickly try to check the logs, it'll be like a second. You know, like I have to refresh it a couple times before I actually see the logs for the embeddings, which makes sense too, because we're waiting for a call. We're waiting for OpenAI to basically vectorize the stuff. So that's a whole process in and of itself, where it's like, all right, I'm going to generate a sound, put it in your database, and then I'm also going to embed this. And at the same time, I'm going to try to write it back to your database and be like, put it all in there. But the issue apparently seems to be a timing issue where we've got the writing of the file to the sound table, the generated sounds table, but the embeddings are still happening. So the embeddings aren't done, and now we got to go back and time it better, I guess. That apparently would be the issue. All right, so let's see. Error occurs because let me prepare an updated edge function that will use maybe single. It's kind of like a dating scene, like status. I feel like this should be on a shirt. Dot maybe single instead of dot single. I don't know. I thought that was amusing, but it is. So dot maybe single. I also have an Amazon merch account that I don't have any designs on, but I have, it is approved. And so I can submit like 1,000 different designs if I wanted to. And I have submitted absolutely 0. And in the past, I've also considered using like LLM, you know, like AI to create designs for the merch account. But I haven't. But if I did, and if I wanted like just text-driven funny things, this would be pretty funny. But it's very like niche. Maybe single. Anyways, where are we? All right, the sound is generating, tables, database, creating sound. Let me prepare an updated version of the edge function that we'll use. Maybe add a small delay, improve the error handling. Yes, would you like me to show you? No, just do it. Just do it. See, that's, you know, it should be like Nike right here. That should just be like a button. So just do it. Would you like me to show you the improved edge function code with these changes? No, like, let's just update the function. Please update the edge function. Please update the edge function. Or please improve please update the edge function to resolve the timing issue. Should I say resolve the timing issue? This is where I'm like, should I leave it up for interpretation or should I just tell you specifically? I think in this specific case, please update the edge function to fix the timing issue. It seems like a timing issue, right? That's what it sounds like. Okay. Again, I'm running slim on Lovable messages. I would put a link in here to Lovable so that we can you can help support the cause. You can help fund this journey, this live stream journey of learning to lovable series here. But I do have a link, lovable.dev/Aaron or ref Aaron. Ref. All right, so what did we do here? Let's look. Let's see. Determine which table to write. Yes, okay, I think it knows where it's gonna go. And it's like, all right, if single, maybe single. Supabase admin from table. It did the thing, it says single to maybe single, and then it did some stuff. Hold on. It did some stuff here. Sound checking, new checking, ID, blah, blah, blah. All right. That said, what should we try to do? I think we should try to, my audio stream's bit rate is zero, is lower than the recommended. Is there a widget? Hold on. For sound, the audio stream's bit rate. We still have sound? Yeah, I guess we have sound, yeah. 0, maybe I should turn it up. This is like a very silent, it's about as silent the whole time. Hold on, let me adjust something. All right, excellent. Okay, stream settings, analytics. I don't know. All right, I turned up the volume. Maybe it was too low. Replaced single. All right, let's just try to do this again. Let's run it back. Valentine's Day, do we want to do that? Do we want to do a serene outdoor setting? Let's do a serene outdoor setting. I need some like calmness, some like tranquility. So we'll use the scene, create a sound, check the embeddings, see if we get errors, yada yada. Butterfly wings. So this one comes up for the scene. I've generated the scene multiple times, but I'm never really sure what a butterfly would sound like, or what butterfly wings would sound like audibly, right? I mean, as a human, I don't think you can actually hear this. It would sound like, I don't even know, the faint, delicate flutter of butterfly wings as they dance among the flowers. And that's where I feel like, whoa, we're giving like, if we expect like 11 Labs to interpret that or to come up with the sound effects, like I would be confused. Like as a human, I'm like, all right, I don't even think we can hear butterfly wings. It would sound like, just like, I mean, if there was a flock of them, like if we were gonna go watch the migration of like monarchs, you know, even then, like I don't even know what that sounds like. So like, how is an LLM supposed to figure that one out? So tell you what, let's skip that one for now. Let's go with like an obvious choice, birds. Because birds are easy, right? I think LLMs typically understand birds. So let's do birds. So we got bird song chorus. It's gonna generate the file. Okay, failed to generate the embedding for the sound again. The logs. It sounds like a piano chord in there. Same-ish kind of thing, and I think it's probably related to the same issue as before. So this fails, clearly. Failed again. Alright, so failed. I'm going to turn the sound off because sometimes that would drive me nuts. Just I'll be like, what is that sound? Oh, it's my sound effects. Alright, so again, show logs, calling edge function failed, We go back over here. If we refresh these logs, we have more errors. And I'll probably send this back over. The sound's probably in here again. What was the sound that we generated? It was birdsong chorus. I've generated so many of these now. It's like melodic chirping of songbirds. Okay, so melodic chirping of various birds, melodic chirping of songbirds, creating a harmonious morning symphony. Hear a symphony. Yeah, so that's in there, but I don't think it fixed the timing issue. So error being melodic chirping of songbirds, harmonious sound, and sound not found. So it's a slightly different error. To be honest, it's a little bit different. Sound not found. So I'm just gonna go back to here and be like, here are the latest logs. Here are the latest logs. And I honestly, I would prefer that it's just the way that Lovable, and it's probably not the most cost friendly thing, but I want to stay in chat only mode and then give me the option to commit the change. Like, okay, do it. And then just stay in chat mode. Like, I find myself conversing with the LLM more than actually committing changes. And I don't know what, as a business model, Lovable's business model is more expensive to run, whether me talking to, I feel like me just talking to the LLM is like cheaper than actually agents running code changes and stuff like that. So I could be wrong. I have no idea. But even for me, I didn't want to generate sound effects like automatically because it was eating all my tokens for 11 Labs, and I'm like running an $11 a month plan. So can you imagine running like something like Lovable and like the cost? Here are the latest logs. Sound. Here are the latest embeddings logs. And that's one thing I'm conscious of, is like just being like specific with Lovable. You know, like these are from a specific place, because again, my schema is kind of messed up in my database. So let's see what it thinks is the issue now. And again, we could just try to fix this. We could do it that way, but I've had more success like actually copying the errors from like Supabase into Lovable. By the way, it's one of my favorite coffee cups, the Embers, with the self-heating thing. If I had a couple complaints, it's heavy. Probably because, it's got a battery and stuff in there and some coils to warm the thing. It's heavy, and the battery doesn't last long. 2 issues. This is an old Ember, though. I don't know if there's a new one. Also, quick recharging would be nice to have. So improve the weight. Less heavy, because then you put liquid in, it's even heavier. It's like, you're doing curls in the morning with your coffee. More faster charging, so quick charging, and what else? Weight, quick charging. Yeah, that's about it. Quick charging and, battery, just generally speaking, battery life. Okay. Would you like me to update the edge function? Looking at the logs, we're still encountering the timing issue with the edge function. Add a retry. Try to find the sounds multiple times. Wait a bit longer. Give up after a reasonable amount of tries. Which attempt? Okay. What is the most effective? See, like, this is where I get into Lovable, and I'm like, I don't know. These all sound like viable options, but I don't know what is better. So it's like, do you want to add a retry mechanism with an exponential back off? Do you want us to improve the logging? Do you want to do this, that, and the other? And so literally this is where I'm like, what do you suggest we do? What do you suggest? And because, again, we're just chatting, it's not incurring costs, I need some recommendations. Not like, because again, not really necessarily, and again, this is where I think if you have a better code, like if you have a better foundation in code, you would be able to make a better decision as a human, as me. But I lean on the LLM. I'm like, oh, well, this project, that's right. You've been building it. You wrote it. So what do you think we should do? So it's like, all right, based on the timing issues, I recommend implementing a retry mechanism with an exponential backoff in the edge function. Well, when the function first tries, the sound fails, short delay, 500 milliseconds, try again up to 3 times. Double the delay for each temp, log. Log each temp for debugging. The timing would look like first attempt, second attempt, third, maximum 1.5 seconds. I don't know how long it takes to actually do an embedding. Does it happen in 1 second? I think that's also highly dependent upon OpenAI servers. Like what happens if OpenAI servers are struggling, slow, down, you know, then obviously stuff's going to break during the embedding, or the embeddings won't show up. It's more resilient, won't significantly impact the user experience, provides clear logging for debugging, handles grace. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it with this. I'm going to try this last function and then I'm going to call it. I'm going to call the stream, and then we'll pick up again. Hopefully when I have resolved this. Either way, we'll be back tomorrow with another stream. Another lovable stream. Love to love to love. Yeah. Would you like me to implement this retry? Yes. Yes. Please implement. You know when you read the question back to somebody? I find myself doing that a lot with my prompting. So I'll be like, it's like, do you want me to implement this retry mechanism in the edge function? I'll be like, yes, please implement the retry mechanism in the edge function. Because I don't want it to go off and do other things. You know, sometimes I've just simply like prompted and then gone, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And then it starts doing all this stuff and you're like, no, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Yes, please implement the retry mechanism in this edge function. So we'll do that. Again, I probably have like 2 messages left. So I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow. I'll probably have to re-up. I'm probably going to have to come out of pocket and actually upgrade my subscription with Lovable. All right. So again, the last hurrah here for the day. We're about an hour into the stream. And like I said, I'm trying to keep these to about an hour, especially when it's just me. So I'll implement the retry mechanism in the generate embeddings edge function to handle timing issues more gracefully. Edge function now has a retry exponential back off handle that. And so if this doesn't work, what I'll probably try to do is be like, are there other ways to deal with this? Can we come back later and update the sound table? Like I feel like we shouldn't necessarily wait around. Just sort of like twiddling our thumbs while we're waiting for embeddings to happen, because what if it's longer than 1.5 seconds? What if what if the servers are slow? What if there's a lot of people using this? Like it's just, that's going to be the bottleneck. And I'm not sure that's what I want it. I'm not sure that's where we should have a bottleneck. I think it should be like, go do the thing, handle the embeddings, like go embed this thing, and then I'll check on you later. And then if you have the embeddings for me, I'll update the file. I'll update the generation. So what that means to a user is, sure, the most recent sounds may not be available as a vector in the database to search for, but eventually they'll get added. So I feel like there needs to be a queue where like the embeddings happen, and then later, so we just let this process flow. Like the edge function would just do like, go embed, I'll put the sound in the database. So 2 separate things. Function, add sound to database. Got it. Don't have the embeddings records. Still waiting on them. Still waiting on them, boss. All right. Go embed the things, and then come back. Tell me when you're done embedding, and then update the sound database. Like I feel like that's the better approach here. But we're gonna try this. Like I said, fingers crossed if it works. But I feel like this is gonna be an issue moving forward. So let's do it. Upload image. Let's go with the market scene. Lots of sounds here. I love scenes that like potentially have a lot of sounds. It's just more, it's just easier for like, I think street chatter, vendor calls, evening breeze. All right, let's do street chatter. The lively hum of conversations and laughter from mingling crowds. All right, so street chatter. So this is where like I don't want the sound generation and the playback to be all right, so failed to generate again. Yeah, I think the embeddings are probably going to take longer. So I will circle back around and see if maybe there's a better way to solve this. But for now, that's where we're at. So this was definitely a struggle in getting a simple thing, a seemingly simple thing, and maybe, let me turn the street chatter off, and quite honestly, probably a stream health, 8:36 a.m. Still low. Is that just because, maybe that's happening because I'm pausing or not talking? Either way, I think that, yeah, so I think we need to solve this a different way. But this is where I think if you understand programming, if you understand databases, and you are a coder, you would be able to identify this more easily, like what the issue is, and not spend like an hour trying to do this. So that's where, when like I see these conversations happening time and time again on Twitter, on X. If you're on X, I'm there, Gray's Reality. Gray's, like the grass reality. It's kind of like, well, it's up for interpretation, and it's just an account that I started a long time ago, but might as well do something with it. What was I going to say? Yeah, if you deal with this stuff day in, day out, you're a database administrator, you're a programmer, you might be able to look at this and just be like, this is like a 2-second fix. You know, you just got to bang, just connect the dots, write a quick SQL, punch it through, boom, problem solved. Then you got me, who's relying on an LLM to like sort it out. On 2 of them, actually. Was Lovable first, and then moved over to ChatGPT 01. Lovable first was like, I think it's a vector. I think it's the way we're creating the string for the vectors. I think that's the problem. And then it just got stuck there. It's like, I think that's it. I'll try this. I'll keep trying to change and then throw it over to 01. What do you think, ChatGPT? Oh, I think it's actually a UUID issue, not matching what's in the database. All right, let me take your feedback, give it back to Lovable. Here's the feedback, Lovable. What do you think? Oh, I think it might be a timing issue, which makes more sense to me. I mean, it makes sense. I still don't know how to solve it, and it's still broken. Clearly, there's errors on the screen. Show logs. It's the same error here, but I expect that if we go back into the function, it would say something very similar in terms of like why it failed. I think we already checked the fail, like why it failed. Because that's what okay, so yeah, so third time. So it's doing the thing where it's like, we're looking, didn't find it. We're looking, didn't find it. Looking, didn't find it, fail. And so that was the fallback mechanism that it implemented. But I don't know if that's the solution. Like, I don't know. I mean, clearly it's not working because I still have a bunch of null statements over there. But that's where I'll leave the stream today. And come back again tomorrow, and we're either going to be here trying to sort through that mess again, or hopefully past it. And if we get past it, I'll let you know what I did to fix it. But that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm leaning towards. If you see this stream in the future and you got this far in the stream, leave a comment below in terms of like what you think the issue is, what I could try, what the solution is. Ideally, if you have a solution, that'd be super cool. But until then, till tomorrow's stream, catch me on Twitter. That's where I'm, Twitter. Catch me on X. That's where I'm going to be talking about this stuff for the most part, is there. Gray's Reality on Twitter, X, and here on YouTube for the foreseeable future. Any short form content or anything that I produce as a result of this moving forward, anything related to AI coding is all going to be on this channel, Gray's Reality. So all the AI stuff, AI coding, Lovable specifically, will be here and on X. All right, so see you when I see you. Most likely tomorrow. If you want to hang out, I'll be around. All right, peace. Let's see if I can end the stream this way.